Hey there, Herd. It's Brad and Steve coming at you. So we've got a quick video where we're going to walk you through what happened in the round of 32 as far as Ram goes and preview what's going to happen in the Sweet 16 per our views and some underdog picks that we see going into that round. Make sure you get your entry in. This is the first entry for the final round, which is beginning Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, and the championship game. It's up on the site. First game tips off at 7:09 p.m. tomorrow, which is Thursday, March 28th. So, in our round of 32, we did have clear cut winner in Chi Ram Dinner. Um, came out with 26.39 Ram points. To probably no one's surprise, the reason Chi Ram Dinner won is because they primarily picked all the favorites. Almost every favorited team won in that round, and Chi Ram Dinner just nailed it by going with most all those favorites. So nice win there, Chi Ram Dinner. As you can see with overall rank, Chi Ram Dinner is now in second. Oh, smallest to largest. There we
There
go.
you
In first is our round of 64 winner, Team Bizzle. It's pretty tight. There's only 4 Ram points separating them. And then we do have a really close pack overall. So it's less than 10 points from the fifth team. I guess really all the way to the seventh team.
Yeah.
Less than a 10-point game going up to the winner. So a lot can change going into this final round. There are some underdog points out there, and that's what we want to highlight for you in this video. So I'll turn it over to Brad to briefly talk about what do you see in the Sweet 16?
Well, there are still a lot of points, and I was discussing with one of the other players in the tournament of do the picks get harder or easier as it goes along? Because obviously you have a track record of teams now. When they're sorting the tournament, some of these smaller teams you don't even know if they're good because of the teams they played. But everybody to get to the Sweet 16 has played somebody that was hard to beat and has won. And so does it make it harder or easier to pick as it goes? And I think it kind of makes it harder because most of these are toss-ups at this point. But I just want to point out a few of the fun things. Like one is UConn versus San Diego State is going to be a super interesting game. UConn pretty clearly, I think, is the best team in the nation. And San Diego State, it just goes to show you that the path of how they get there matters. San Diego State only had to beat like a 12 seed and then I think a 13 seed. So are they a really good team? Because they did make it pretty deep in the tournament last year with a lot of the same players, or have they been untested? And I think people are really going to have to like go with their eyeballs versus like what's out there. Um, and you look at this, there are two versus threes. There are 2 1 versus 4s, and there are 2 1 versus 5. The real outlier is Marquette versus NC State, and I think most people have Marquette very heavily favored in it, but NC State has been overcoming their position, and they're one of the hottest teams right now. And they've just been playing tough basketball, and if anybody watched the games, they have a ton of size. Um, so I think that one is the biggest outlier of the teams that are left. And then we still have this Purdue versus Gonzaga, who have in the last 2 to 3 years have been some of the best teams during the regular season in the nation, and both have a good pedigree for the tournament. And so you just this year you really have there isn't like this super clear super underdog team. Each team you can make a really good argument for. The Houston versus Duke game, I think, is going to be interesting because Duke has been dominant in both of the teams more really than Houston has. But Duke, once again, they played, I think they played a 12 seed to start off with, and then they beat they beat a 12 seed. They played an 11 seed to start off with. So, and then I really like this Creighton Tennessee game just because, I think that both those teams are really interesting, fun to watch, and they're new on the scene. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to just seeing how this round plays up and seeing if we can kind of break the spell that we've had so far throughout the tournament of basically all of the favorites winning and the underdog. If you pick straight favorites this entire tournament, you're probably in a good spot with Ram. And that is the polar opposite compared to the last two tournaments we had, where it was very essential to take a lot of underdogs. And so is this the round where the underdogs sort of revive themselves and people are going to regret, or is it going to stay status quo and they really got it right this year? So that's kind of my take, Steve. Do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, I think you highlighted this late game on Friday night, the Creighton Tennessee game. I think these two later games on Friday are going to be the games of the week. Just in, if I were to predict things, Duke versus Houston, Creighton versus Tennessee, they're tighter seedings, and I think they're going to be really close, fun to games to watch. The Gonzaga Purdue pick, I think that's I could see Gonzaga taking that one. I think it's going to be a battle of the defenses. I think they're two defensively stout teams, and Gonzaga did a great job bottling up the two top scorers versus Kansas, and really took care of business with Kansas. If they can figure out how to game plan for Purdue's top scorer, like I think they've got a good formula to maybe upset there. So
Yeah,
looking forward to these games this week.
if people don't know, Purdue was the 1 seed that got upset last year by the 16 seed. The last time that happened, a 1 seed was upset by 16 was Virginia. And then they went on the next year to win the national championship. So I wonder if history will repeat itself there. That would be pretty interesting.
They might have that chip on their shoulder, just like UVA did. Yeah.
But you know, we
Hey,
just wanted to get a midweek video out to you guys. I do want to say we put a lot of work into this stuff. It is a lot of fun for us. We do appreciate when people point out that there are maybe issues with the scoring and are patient with us to get them fixed. We're doing a lot of this stuff by hand. Steve's doing most of the work on that side. But you know, if you guys just bear with us, we always get it right, and we are competitive people, and so we want to make sure these things are competitive all the way through. So if you see anything, feel free to let us know. But we're having a lot of fun. Tournament's kind of winding down to the end, but all the best games are still left to come. So keep your horns up,
what's
and
up?
we will see you next video.